are in Noto now. I think we saw at least 30 churches. This is what we came for, right?
Yes.
To just enjoy the sun, escape Germany. Getting a rental car in Italy requires you mostly to have a credit card. These are my favorite places that I would definitely recommend. Number 1 is Noto, number 2 is Syracuse or Siracusa, and number 3 would be Enna. Welcome back to the Phoebe Way. And this time around, I'm here to tell you about my trip to Sicily. Sicily is big, so we narrowed it down to a few cities that we wanted to see. First of all, why did we go to Sicily? We went to Sicily because it's warmer there. As you can see, it's colder in Germany. So we thought to, quickly tank a little bit more sun before coming into real winter, and then we'd come back into winter and know that, at least we're able to spend good time in a warmer climate. So other place you can go that is warmer than Germany would be Portugal, Greece, and of course anything lower than that, and also the Caribbean.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We'll be arriving at our destination shortly.
We first of all landed in Palermo, and the first hiccup we had was trying to get a rental car. And that's one thing that you should look out for. Getting a rental car in Italy requires you mostly to have a credit card, and they don't want a Visa or a debit. They want a credit card. And our credit card had the issue that the writings on it had faded. So they were trying to prove difficult, and basically we couldn't take it at the place we first registered and reserved the car at. So we had to go ahead to a different place. That was the next day. And the funny thing about Sicily is that most of the car rentals would operate from the airport, and you'll not find it easy to get a car in, for example, in Palermo. You would have to actually take the car at Palermo Airport. And then there's another problem. Taking the car from Palermo Airport doesn't mean the car rental companies are actually there. So you have to wait at Palermo Airport for the shuttle of the car rental company. They'll come pick you up, take you to the company, like to their premises. You take the car and then you bring the car back to the premises, and then they take you to the airport. So that is how things work there for most of the rental companies. If you want to rent a car in Sicily, that is what you have to know, especially if you land in Palermo, as we did. One thing about Italy is churches. That's the home of the Catholic. That's why we have the Roman Catholic. So the churches were plenty. I think we saw at least 30 churches, and after the third church building, I said, you know what? I love God. He loves me. The food in Sicily, obviously, seafood. I would compare seafood on the Greek islands to the ones in Italy, and I prefer the seafood in Italy. In Greece, I prefer the meat, the beefsteak and all of that. But I like the seafood in Sicily more. Another thing I loved in Palermo was the vibe at night. You could just walk through the town and you see people singing. Now from Palermo, we headed towards Siracusa. Siracusa is more southern, and on the way there, we made a stop in Catania. Sorry, I'm going to put the name here. I don't know how to pronounce it. As you can see, it's a tongue breaker. But that place, first of all, this city was asleep. The streets were empty, as you can see. We got there around 1 p.m. and literally everybody was having their siesta. That's another thing in Italy. They love their siesta. We got to see this church, the Agatha Church, which I wanted to see because my late mom is Agatha. So anything Agatha counts me in. Anything Phoebe counts me in, honey. I love my name and I love the woman who gave it to me. So yeah. So we walked around there. We saw the places. They also have a cathedral. So you will not run out of churches to view in Italy. This is one of the main sightseeing things in Sicily, basically. So that is what we did. We did not eat anything. We tried this 24-hour store, which you're going to be seeing now, where we got a drink, some water, and then we continued to Noto. We are in Noto now. Noto is my favorite part of this trip. Can you see how everything is just peaceful, even though it was busy? My first impression of Noto was we drove uphill and there were so many people, but because of the color of the buildings, this nice creamy, it's not white, it's like a creamy yellowish building, and the vibe. The day we got to Noto, they were filming a movie, and the same thing was when we were in Palermo as well. They were filming movies all over, but Noto, oh, mi piace. That is my favorite city of all the cities that we went to. So Noto, I highly recommend. The food we had in Noto, I highly recommend. Walking through Noto in the evening light, in this dim light, I highly recommend. I miss Noto. So from Noto, we then went to Siracusa. We had a nice, it was a nice Airbnb. Like, it was cute with this maisonette apartment, but it was hot at night in the sleeping area, so it wasn't that good. So if you're looking for an Airbnb in any of the cities, make sure that you are closer to the city center. And being closer to the city center does not mean that you will not get to see the beach, because Siracusa has the beach. This is what we came for, right?
Yes.
To just enjoy the sun, escape Germany, the cold and wet Germany, and just come here and enjoy this. This is so nice. But look, it just keeps getting better. The more you walk, the better it gets. Look down there.
Yeah, once you're in the middle.
And Siracusa was a nice place as well. Like, the vibe was cool. You could walk around as well. Walking through the market. Woo, look at those spices. The spices were great. Oh, like, I wanted to buy spices, but because I bought so many spices in Bokap, as in South Africa, Cape Town, I just had to hold myself together and exercise self-discipline and not buy any spices. So I didn't buy any, and I don't feel good about that, because there was that one, the green one with the dried zucchini, like the courgettes. I really wanted it, but self-discipline, I had to respect myself. I didn't do it. So that was that. We also had a nice drink at this top deck kind of terrace setting. It was nice. We didn't have dinner because we had an early dinner. It was actually more of lunch because the weather was not really cooperating with us. So we had to get that as well in. And after we had this big lunch or early dinner, we didn't want to eat anything anymore. We just had the drink and that was it. The second day, after the second night, we then set off to go back to Palermo so we can have our flight back to Germany. And we then made stops at Catania.
Unten.
Hier.
Unten.
Wo einkaufen. So this is a game changer. These are fresh noodles. This is what I'm buying to take with me to Germany. Yeah. It's only in Germany that food from the markets are more expensive than food at Lidl. Because at the market it was somewhere €1. I mean, you saw the prices, but now it's more expensive. It's crazy. It's a bit hotter here, but I mean, we'll be flying in a few hours, so I think it should be fine. Germany is cold. Oh, I'm really dreading going back, but yeah, it's been a nice time. I hope you enjoyed the vlog so far. In Catania, that was when we got to Catania. The weather wasn't favorable, but Catania was nice. I didn't like how Catania smelled. Coming from Siracusa, Catania would make you feel like it's not clean. But Catania has a lot of character. I loved the garden in Catania as well, the Giardini. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Good for walks, but it's not big. We saw different gardens, and the one at Catania was big, but it wasn't that big, okay? So that's one thing about that. The next thing I would say about Catania was we had a great breakfast there. Of course, the cafe was called Agatha. You had to choose that cafe. The one we had was close to the amphitheater, so it was great. I loved it. I loved it. I loved the breakfast, and it lasted us the whole day till dinner. So from Catania, we went to Enna. And on the way to Enna, that was where we saw Etna. Etna was not having any disruption at that time, or erupted, not disruption. Eruption at that time hadn't erupted. It was, calm. But it was beautiful to see with the snow cap. That day we got to Enna, right? It was a rainy day, and Enna was in the clouds. I felt like I had arrived in heaven. And from Enna, you have a really good view on Etna, the volcano mountain. So that was, I would definitely recommend. And Enna was also very quiet. Enna was very, very quiet, but I would definitely recommend Enna to anyone who needs to see Enna. Back to Palermo, we didn't do much, but we had this dinner. And on the 28th, we decided to walk around Palermo again. Of course, why would you go to Sicily and miss the cannolo? So we had to have the coffee at the cafe on one of the main streets there. And then we also saw these beautiful scenes. We went to the markets again, and then we went to the beach, Mondello. I think it was called Mondello Beach. And I would definitely recommend Mondello Beach. It was really nice there. The water was also quite warm, even though it was end of September. So if you're going in September, be rest assured the water will be warm. The next thing we did from there was I wanted to get something edible because I didn't react so well to the food at the markets. I had my tummy was just not feeling too good, so I needed my Coke, so I had to go get a Coke, and I wanted to get Coke and something like pretzel. So we went to Lidl, because Lidl is what? German, from southern of Germany. So we went there, and they did have the pretzel, but out of excitement of actually finding the pretzel, I forgot to buy the pretzel. I only had the Coke. But yeah, we also took time to have an Italian Lidl experience. Fail.
Haben sie bei mir einfach Fleisch mit reingemacht. I think it's a modern experience.
So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this gives you a good overview of where to go to in Sicily, how to go about your rentals, how to go about your bookings, and which places you should go to. So these are my favorite places that I would definitely recommend. Number 1 is Noto, number 2 is Syracuse or Siracusa, and number 3 will be Enna. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I have more vlogs that I have to sit down and edit and everything, but travel vlogs. So yes, and I'm also going to be vlogging, of course, daily life in Germany, and I'm going to be making a monthly update so you see the things that went on in Germany and how we are living in Germany, okay?